All right, good morning, students. In this video, we're going to learn about rate of change. And the formula that we're going to be using is, I just call it ROC for the rate of change. And this one is going to be equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's talk about what this means. First and foremost, to do rate of change, you need two ordered pairs. So you need 2 points. Clear? All right, point 1 and point 2. I know. See, because these points are both x and y, how do we tell them apart? So that is why we're going to use a subscript. That is a little number. Right here, we're going to call this one x1 because it comes from point 1. We're going to call this one y1 because it comes from point 1. Call this one x2 and y2 because they come from point 2. Okay, so now you just have to remember to put the numbers in the right place. So x1 goes here, and x2 goes here. Okay? And y1 and y2 go here. So you'll always see me stacking the points vertically just so that it's a little bit easier. Now, what does this mean? The rate of change is the change in the y coordinate over the change in the x coordinate. That's what that little triangle means, change. When we have linear functions, all right, so when we talk about linear functions, that's when we call this rate of change the slope. So for linear functions, the rate of change is known as the slope. All right, but that's only for lines. When we have different types of functions, the change in the y's in a given interval is just called simply rate of change. But it's the same calculation, as you will find out. All right, so for number one, the first things first is, do you have both points? So all right, because in these problems that we're going to start off with, we will be given both points. In the other problems, we're going to have to do some digging to find the points. So you're giving 9, -1, and 21, 1. All right, so this one is going to be 0.1, this one's going to be 0.2. Here, this is going to be x1 and y1. This one's going to be x2 and y2. And we want to write the slope or rate of change. All right, so the formula for the rate of change is going to be, or slope, which is the same thing, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, the step that I'm going to do now, please, 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 please don't think of it as an annoying step. This is the step that's going to save you from making a mistake with the signs. Wrap all of these in parentheses. Okay? So this will become like this. And now you just have to put the right number in the right spot. All right, so we need y2, and y2 is this one. It's going to go right here. It's probably highlighted yellow as well. Here we go. And then we need y1, and y1 is this one. So we need to put -1 right here. Okay. Now notice that even though this is -1, we still have that negative sign in between the numbers. In this space right here, we're going to put x2, and x2 happens to be 21. And in this spot over here, we're going to put x1, right? And x1 happens to be this. So it can be very easy. You just got to put the numbers in the right place. And then remember that these negative signs are part of the formula. So even though a number might be negative, that doesn't mean that you get rid of that negative sign, okay? And now we just type it in correctly into the calculator. For those of you that have not a very good calculator, you might want to do the numerator first and then the numerator second, and I'll show you in just a moment. Okay, so I had to move the screens around, some of it are small, but here it is, we're at Desmos, and I'm gonna type in the slash bar so I can create the fraction bar, and it's gonna be 1 minus negative 1 over 21 minus 9, right? And you can click this button right here, and it'll turn your answer into a fraction. So it should be 1 over 6. All right. Once you get really good at this and you understand, you can probably type it in without all the parentheses. But remember, you still have to do that double negative. 1 minus a negative 1 over 21 minus 9. And see, you still get the same answer. You just have to make sure that you do it carefully, okay? So in this case, the rate of change is 1 over 6. All right, so in this problem, what you want to do is you want to collect both points. I usually consider my first point, point 1, and the second point, point 2. That means this one is x1, this one is y1, x2, y2. All right, so I know my rate of change formula is going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? And so it's going to be y2 minus y1, okay? So it's going to be negative 7 minus a negative 10 over x2 minus x1, so 5 minus 8, right? Typing this into the calculator, right, the fraction bar, and so it's negative 7 minus a negative 10 over 5 minus 8, and that gives us negative 1. All right, let's do the next one. See, so with this one, I have 2 points. I have 4, 4. I have negative 4, 8. And once again, since this is point 1, this is my x1, y1. This is point 2. This is my x2, y2. Right? I know the formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And so I'm just going to go ahead and place them. y2 minus y1. So it's going to be 8 minus the 4. And then x2 minus x1. So it's going to be the negative 4 minus the 4. Okay. And then using the calculator over here, we'll use the slash bar so that we can get the fraction going. And then it's 8 minus 4 over negative 4 minus 4. And that gives us negative 0.5. And once again, you can click this symbol right here. Hope you can see the mouse moving. And it'll make it into a fraction, negative 1/2. So there you go. So the rate of change is negative 1/2. Okay. What is the slope that passes through these points? It's negative 6 minus 4 over negative 4, comma 2. And once again, this is x1, y1, x2, y2, right? I always write the formula because when you write it over and over again, eventually it just becomes part of your permanent memory, okay? So subtract the y, so in this case it's going to be 2 minus negative 4, right? So 2 minus negative 4 over negative 4 minus a negative 6. So negative 4 minus a negative 6. Right? Remember? Minus 2 minus a negative 4. Negative 4 minus a negative 6. And putting this into the calculator. All right, let's see the fraction bar, and it's 2 minus a negative 4 over negative 4 minus a negative 6. So we get a 3. So the rate of change is 3. All right.